All right, it's about 5:30. I'm heading up around the test range, and it's the perfect time and place for me to catch the Area 51 white bus. There's two places it stops after it picks up the employees from the base. One of them is the Alamo Sheriff's Station. The other place is right here where I'm parked. Kind of weird that all the Area 51 employees drive Volkswagens. Well, it's always a good morning when you wake up to some F-117s flying over. Such a badass plane. They've been pretty active out here at Groom Lake, actually. So a buddy of mine from Colorado has been wanting to go camping with me out here at the test range, met up with me over in Alamo. We headed out here to Groom Lake Road and spent the night last night. We got a lot of ground to cover in today's adventure, so stay tuned. First off, we'll be checking out an interesting facility and airstrip out here in the desert that not a lot's known about it. Afterwards, we'll be heading over to a real underground nuclear test site to spend the night tonight. Is the surface going to be radioactive still? Well, I guess we'll have to find out when we get there. But first, a quick word about something that definitely isn't radioactive. That would be my friends over at AG1, today's video sponsor. I've been starting my mornings with AG1 now for almost a month, and I can really say I've noticed a big difference. I'm on the go all the time, and I spend many nights out in the wilderness, so the fact that this easy-to-make drink exists makes it so much easier to get a nutritional boost to fuel my adventures. This awesome drink contains over 75 vitamins and minerals, as well as probiotics designed to meet all your foundational daily nutritional needs. I love the fact that it comes in a bag option with a scoop, and also these super handy travel packs. With the travel packs, they're so easy to just throw in my hiking backpack or camping kit. They're right there ready to make for me in the morning. I notice a big difference in my energy level. When I'm climbing around out here in the mountains, it's really easy to get burnt out, but with AG1, I stay sustained throughout the day. Whether I'm in a tent or in my camper, I'm always limited on space, so I find myself having to pick and choose what things to carry with me. This drink replaces the need for a bunch of bulky supplement and vitamin bottles that take up valuable storage space. For less than $3 per day with a subscription, you get a great tasting drink that replaces the need for multivitamins, probiotics, and more. If you're looking for a product that supports your immune system, promotes gut health, and helps sustain your energy levels throughout your day, definitely check out AG1. It's even backed by multiple research studies. Be sure to use my link, which includes a free welcome kit. It gets you a bottle of vitamin D and 5 of the AG1 travel packs when you first sign up. About 78 miles northwest of Area 51 sits this little-known facility with an airstrip known only as Basecamp. A very unassuming name and a very unassuming location. In fact, it's right off Highway 6, so you could say it's hiding in plain sight. Originally, this location was operated by the Atomic Energy Commission. More on that later. But now it's under the control of the Air Force and is used in some capacity to support operations at Area 51, possibly as an auxiliary landing location for test aircraft. Interestingly, official FAA records list this runway as being closed, despite the fact that it clearly isn't. It's been regularly maintained, and aircraft have been seen and photographed at this facility. It's coming up on my left here, so let's take a little drive through Basecamp. Despite the threatening-looking red no trespassing signs in front of me here, the road cutting through Basecamp is actually publicly accessible, although I've heard if you linger too long, security's going to come out and give you trouble. Looks like some warehouse and maintenance bays over here on my left. Quite a few of the white NTTR pickups. And that sign said electric fence, interestingly. Doesn't look like much activity today. On the right side of the road is some housing structures, presumably for base employees and contractors. And hey, it looks like a camo dude pickup. Good old Ford Raptor. Here we're coming up on the airstrip. The airstrip has been regularly maintained despite the fact that it's listed in official records as being closed. The F-117s actually practiced touch-and-go landings here when they were in development at Groom Lake. Nowadays there's been some very interesting photos of white C-130 cargo planes landed here. This facility is operated by the Air Force Flight Test Center, which is the same unit that operates Area 51. And it's also connected to Area 51 via a heavy-duty microwave link via nearby Halligan Mesa and Bald Mountain. Looks like one of the no trespassing signs fell off here. Let's go ahead and take one more pass through the facility as we make our way back to the highway here. The Nevada test site was the primary location for nuclear weapons testing, both above and below ground, starting in 1951. A total of 928 nuclear detonations occurred here, but in the heart of Nevada's remote desert lies another brief chapter in America's nuclear test history. By the late 1960s, repeated underground nuclear tests in the same geographical area were beginning to cause problems, and the Atomic Energy Commission began searching for a new location to conduct these tests, farther from the population center of Las Vegas and deeper in Nevada's vast emptiness. That decision gave birth to the Central Nevada Test Site, a remote expanse about 30 miles north of Warm Springs, with the Basecamp airstrip originally being built to service this site. The first and ultimately the only test conducted here was called Project Faultless. On January 19, 1968, engineers lowered a 1 megaton nuclear device almost 3,200 feet below the valley floor. The detonation sent massive shockwaves through the desert, fracturing the geology and leading to disastrous results. It was clear that after one test, that the geology of this area was too unstable to support a test site, so the area was shut down and further testing was moved to Alaska. Tonight, we'll be camping in the scarred remains of the Central Nevada Test Site and seeing what remains, if anything, of its brief but explosive history. Alright, well, we've made it to the Project Faultless test area. Time to walk around on foot for a while and see if we find anything cool. First thing we have here is this huge cylinder structure sticking out of the ground. This steel pipe extends 3,200 feet below the ground and marks the exact site where the bomb was lowered and the detonation took place. Here's a plaque that commemorates the event. It's pretty crazy to imagine that we're standing on top of a massive underground radioactive cavity right now. Some kind of a concrete pad from a support structure. So theoretically, this site should be considered safe as far as surface level radiation, but I brought my Geiger counter with me on this trip, so let's pull it out and see if we can get any surface radiation levels above background. If the cleanup efforts did their job, we really shouldn't, but let's find out. So after walking around, it looks like just background radiation, which is great to hear. Means I can rest a little easier when I spend the night here tonight. So I was super curious what these red boxes are. I've been seeing them dotting the valley pretty much everywhere since we got here. Turns out they're covering groundwater monitoring devices, and they were installed in 2006. Somebody left a sticker on this one, I see. Another common feature I'm finding out here are these white pillars with signs warning against digging or removing material due to the contaminated soil. It mentions petroleum, which could have something to do with the diesel fuel used in the drilling process. This area up here is heavily fenced off. It's barbed wire with a lot bigger version of those no digging signs that are on those white pillars. I'm guessing the fenced off areas are just more geologically unstable than the surrounding areas. There's really just this one big square kind of in the middle that's fenced off, and there's a few smaller ones on the periphery too. There's a monitoring station over there. Looks like a weather station too, but I imagine it serves some sort of radiation monitoring function as well. Oh, this thing looks kind of interesting over here. I honestly am not 100% sure what this is. It's the right shape to maybe have once covered the hole where they dropped the nuclear device down. So maybe before they sealed it with concrete, this is what they had covering it. That's really in there. While Project Faultless was the beginning and end of nuclear testing here at the Central Nevada test site, the aftermath of this blast left behind contamination and fractured earth. Cleanup and restoration efforts began almost immediately and continue in some form even to this day. After the 1968 detonation, the first priority was containment. The 36-inch steel emplacement casing used to lower the nuclear device was sealed with thick concrete plugs and welded shut. Radiation monitors confirmed that the underground cavity was holding most of the contamination, but fractures in the valley floor meant that there was always a certain level of risk. Engineers graded the land and fenced the area to restrict access. The Atomic Energy Commission posted warning markers and monitored radiation levels to ensure the site posed no immediate danger to nearby ranches or communities. Throughout the 80s, 90s, and 2000s, cleanup efforts continued. Contaminated soil near the surface facilities was removed, old support buildings were demolished, and hazardous materials like asbestos and fuel tanks were cleaned up. What remains now are capped boreholes, fenced exclusion zones, and warning signs cautioning against digging or drilling. But beneath the surface lies a sealed cavern of melted rock and radioactive debris, serving as a reminder of how one test transformed an entire valley. Well, tonight, I'll be car camping on top of a massive hole filled with 500,000 metric tons of nuclear contaminated waste, with about as much radiation as a nuclear reactor. That's something I can honestly say that I've never done before. Well, monsoon season's definitely here. It's kind of been raining a little bit off and on all day. Looks like we're gonna get a pretty big thunderstorm overnight, so that'll be nice to fall asleep to. Anyways, time to fall asleep on top of a underground radioactive chamber. All right, so after spending the night in the nuclear wasteland, we headed back towards Rachel. My plan on the way out back home was to cruise by Area 51 and do some more videography from the secret viewpoint. After I climbed Noname Peak back in July, I got a lot of requests to do some more videography from up there, so I wanted to get some more footage. That said, the weather this time really did not cooperate. I got lots of thunderstorms rolling through, which caused me to have to shoot through multiple cloud layers, resulting in not so great footage. That said, I did get some pretty cool clips, just not quite enough to fill a whole separate video. So I'm gonna go ahead and roll that into today's video for you guys. I got some good clips of passengers exiting the Janet jets and some up close footage of the Ghost Hawk helicopters and just some more sharp footage of the base. So we'll go ahead and show you guys that now. Well, I made it to the top. I unpacked my camera gear and I tried to shoot my best through the multiple cloud layers that had moved in between me and the subject. Tons of moisture in the air too, but I'll sharpen it a bit in post. Here we can see the moment that the passengers actually exit the Janet flights, moving towards the base.